Fluffies! Welcome to the flower Q&A number 2. We are talking about everything that Chelsea has said in the Discord that is coming in the future only about the flowers. I have another video just for the new things coming in general in the game, but there's so many things about the flower, this is a specific video. So if you're still confused about the flower and wondering why things change from one update to the other, look at this video. We're adding functionality in 1.8 so that holding any button will apply the action to the entire plot. Digging up, fertilizing, watering, troweling. Be careful with digging up, I guess. But yeah, fertilizing, watering, troweling. I mean, digging up and troweling is the same, but I think she meant maybe plucking the flower. So plucking, fertilizing, watering, super useful. Digging up, maybe not. So we'll need to be careful with that. Maisley said, how will this work when there are flowers in different parts of the growth cycle on the plot? And is there any plan in the future to create a select feature where you can select certain months and not other to take single action? Chelsea answered, it will apply to anything that the action is acceptable for. So pluck any flower that are fully bloom, water any flower that haven't been watered, fertilize any flower that haven't been fertilized, and trowel all flowers. Trowel all flowers. 2. The UX to make that work would be super complicated, so I doubt we'll pursue something like that. So the select feature. That's good to know. Theta said, I hope Sunblink takes note of how difficult they've made this whole flower thing. And Chelsea said we've seen a bunch of engagement with the feature and many people deeply invested in it. It was designed to have enough depth that the people who like it can really explore and discover and create their own unique flowers. For people who don't want to play with flowers, we ensured the achievement for it were minimal and that it does not gate anything beside itself. We'll be adding more tips to Wish Me Mail's dialogue, but the systemic depth is very much by design. Good to know. Egish Miv said, just think we could have had 3 event flowers during 1.6. And Chelsea said it wasn't an event flower. The original scope of flowers had original flowers, a flower for each season, and event flowers. We even considered weather flowers, but that was too confusing given they are already weather flowers in a way. The one that you're watering to get the raindrop. So this is interesting. So all regional flowers, as of 1.7, we had now Mount Hothead. So I think what is missing is Cloud Island, the Spooky Swamp, and the water, because I think you have the signs that flowers can come from these areas. So yes, all these do not have flowers yet and probably will. And so she said that the one in 1.8 will probably be delayed, so we have a small break. And that means that they might release one new area per release in the future. And event flowers, not all events will have flowers, I guess. But there was the marigold and there was the eggworts. So probably more events will also have flowers. And I hope they do not overlap events, but probably not. And each season, if you've seen the other Discord news video that I have done, she talks a lot about season, but it's in like that. So I don't think that it's in the next future 1 or 2 updates coming. I don't know, but we'll probably have seasons. So I don't know if in winter we'll have flowers, but probably different flowers blooming in different seasons. This is so exciting, guys. My god, I love this. I love flowers, honestly. Out of curiosity, since seeds are untradeable, what's the benefit of having them during the event? Is it just so you can travel them up early / move them around earlier? Asking this generally. And Egeshmeef said, personally I think getting to move them early is a big benefit. People who get really into flowers often try to optimize their setup, and being unable to move flowers early makes managing fields feel messier and more chaotic. Plus, it does add some time delay to making new setup, which isn't too much of an issue during May, but it does make shorter events like Color Blaze more stressful, at least from my perspective. And I totally agree with this. And Chelsea said, yeah, totally fair. I think in general we're going to avoid event flowers for the shorter event if we can, for exactly that reason, at least until the feature, TM, is released to make it easier for folks. The feature is the thing that will make the past even flowers propagate again. Jessie said, pattern solid combos should have 1% of a pattern clone, while pattern should have closer to 2%. I'll try to see how it's pulling the odds. Maybe it's something that's already been addressed in the pattern breeding changes. Chocomochi Queen asked, do Ombre self-propagate as Ombres or are they a base solid? And Justice said they do have a chance of spawning a clone of themselves. It's higher than the fertilization rate, 1%, but less than the chance of just creating a solid color clone. So talking about the patterned flowers, when we originally developing them, we called them shinies since they were a special rare variant. That's nice, I like that. Shinies. And this is the most important thing. Not all patterns are compatible with all flower types. Sometimes things just get way too busy / wonky. And I'm actually now on my setups where I'm transferring patterns. Like, eggworts have speckled. You can transfer speckled to other flowers. Like I have speckled Tulias. I have seen speckled hibiscus. But probably unlikely that you have seen speckled bell buttons because it sounds too small to see the difference. But probably there's no trim eggworts because it's all round and you cannot make the trim around, something like that. So for my upcoming video, I'm trying also to see what is the limitation of the pattern. Can we make it to these or not these sorts of flowers? Like also thistles, it's difficult to, like I would say the trim one might be very similar to the ombre actually. So I don't know. If you have seen special patterns for special flowers, like for example trims, I have them in penstemon and dandelions, but I'm pretty sure you can have trim tulias and trim hibiscus too. So if you have specific patterns like that, I would love to see them. And so if you can already just tell me in the comments, but also send me pictures in the Discord or Instagram, that would be amazing. I would love to see all the possible combinations that we can do in patterns, because for the moment I'm trying for everything, even though we now know that it's not all possible. And so my calculation of 17,000, it did not count the new heavy nettle, but it did count all the possible patterns, which we now know it's not the case. So we'll see. And Mika said, don't ruin my dream of making a speckled thistle right now. So I don't know. Will it be possible? Apparently the ombre eggworts are upside down. So Percy said, I'm not complaining, but why are the ombre eggworts upside down? Like the ombres are reversed. And Chelsea said, this made me confused too because I thought I'd gotten a warm pink ombre instead of a white ombre. I'll ask if the art team can swap it. Dev story time about flowers and their timer. Initially, we programmed in a variability per flower type on how quickly the flower grew. The idea being you could have a flower that grew super slowly, like a 7-day sprout stage, then bloomed super flawlessly, single-day bud stage, or a hyper rare flower that has a 30-day bud stage and only bloom once every 2 weeks. We wanted the base flower to be quickly rewarding, so we kept the sprouts and bud stages small, but still wanted some room for joke flowers to be faster. Hence the 2-day timer for sprout and bud. When flower came out, we realized that most of the fun was really just in the colors and getting pretty blooms, and that changing a growth timer would likely just lead to bug reports, so we nixed the idea of having different growth styles for different flowers. However, if you were wondering based on yesterday's flower conversation why in the world some stages took multiple days, there you have it. Apparently, they're trying to make that the people who don't want to engage in flower have less of invasion of the plots all over their map and everything. And they're trying to look if they could make it a little bit less visible than really dirt pile and everything. Hey y'all, we're trying to evaluate some potential changes to the visuals of flower patches. The most extreme version would be only using the physical heels of the plots as visuals and removing the dirt indicator. This will mean folks who don't enjoy the flower mechanics wouldn't have the polka dot grid. Is it too subtle? Here's a medium version and the original version. Is there an alternative, like no plots, just digging? And she said, nope, not possible. Animal Crossing has an entirely grid-based world, which is why that's possible there. We don't, so any plottable land has to be hand-placed by devs. That is also what is going to be difficult if you want to place furniture outside, or if you want the whole island to be terraformed or something like that. At the moment, it's not possible there because they have to make the grid where you have to do stuff. And Curtis said, I really wish there was a toggle to completely disable the flower plot. And Chelsea answered, we definitely could not do something that brought back the old stuff because it would involve having multiple collision maps. We can pretty much only change the visuals. It's definitely clear that there's no solution that will make everyone happy and that folks are very polarized on this. We'll keep folks' opinion in mind as we continue to iterate on the feature. Egish Miv has summarized the planting. Patterned flowers can transfer there. Flower color to other flower types with different flower colors. Patterned to other flower types with the same flower color. So a violet, white, ombre, tulia could therefore transfer the violet color to other flower types and the ombre pattern to other violet flowers. So if you want the color, put other types next to it, and if you want a pattern, put other flowers of the same color. Ishibu said that means I'll have to give up on trims for now until things are fixed. And Justice said this is very much by design and not a bug. However, there will be a feature in the future that assists in propagating event flowers. But actually, Ishibu, you should not give up on trims because I only had trims in orange and now I replanted all my marigold. And since the trim is actually the pattern, it comes with fertilizing. So you can just fertilizing them, and I had my marigold turn trim because I could plant them. The flower changes itself. You cannot get new colors though because it involves making a new flower, but getting a pattern is cool. And then you can use these trims to transfer to the same colors. So I have plots with one trim red flower in the middle and many other types of red flowers around, and because you want the other flowers to propagate to get the pattern, it's not the marigold actually who propagates, it's the other flower who propagates, then you don't need to be inside of the event with the marigold propagating. So every single color of marigold that you already own, you can turn trim and you can try to propagate it to other colors. At the moment I was able to propagate orange trims to penstemons and dandelions and red trim to penstemon. There's still many more to do and I have 5 colors of marigold only, but it's still a lot for me to do to manage to get all those trims. In other types in between, they released this new feature to said that assists in propagating event flowers. This is the original inspo board. Look at this. This is very interesting. You see the ombres, you see the speckled, you see the trim, and then you see 2 other patterns that are badly crossed, thank you Chelsea, to say that it's spoilers. And one seems to be like, I don't know how they will call it, but almost like diamonds, and the other one seems like super thin lines or something like zebra. A zebra, that would be nice. So, future event flowers coming, because those other patterns will always be special for the event flowers, and ombres will always be the ones for the main biome flowers, but we don't know about the seasonal ones. Apparently in 1.7 or was it 1.7.1 there's a bug report for flower growth delay, and Jesse said an unknown bug was unintentionally fixed, leading to discrepancies between past player experiences, watering multiple times a day, getting blooms each day, and new player experience, watering once a day, getting blooms every other day. Changes will be coming in the future updates to make watering more consistent and progress around gaining fertilizer from blooms or otherwise, at least as effective as it was before 1.7.1. That's the issue actually. I don't mind my flower not blooming every day, but I mind not being able to pick them up to make fertilizer every day. So every other day now I have less fertilizer, so less growth, like less progress on my island because I cannot fertilize everything. Jessie said, remember there are 4 days of growth between grown and bloom, and watering only skips 1 day, so it's by design that it takes 2 to bloom. You actually get bonuses watering if you happen to null, hand water, plank, hand water, rain. So it's possible to get ahead by mix and matching, but you should not be able to go from grown to bloomed in a day. So apparently it was the case and now it's not anymore. I'm still confused about watering and everything, and that's why I'm not changing my guides at the moment, because everything changes all the time. They were never supposed to be daily blooms, and I'd rather have consistent, easy to understand watering mechanics and find ways to provide more fertilizer than have a confusing double, triple, maybe waterable mess to get more flowers that take more time to compost and fruit. Because the end goal is to significantly decrease the maintenance effort, significantly increase mechanic accessibility. Mass compost is definitely coming, and we also want to just increase either what can be composted or the return on compost, or wish me melts bonus as it relates to compost. But with the end goal of like manually hand watering, fertilizing, composting should not be taking people the hours it is currently taking. To be honest, for people who tell me I know nothing about flowers, I'm confused, you need to know that learning about flowers is easy. It's spending the 1.5 to 2 hours, to even more sometimes, time to take care of your flowers daily. That is actually super, super long. And before flowers, I had time to actually read the discourse daily and keep up with that. And now I need to spend too much time for the flowers. And if I don't do it one day, then I'm like, what is important to do every day is troweling the unwanted flowers, because it leaves space for the other ones to come the next day. And so if you don't do that, then the next day you don't have anything. And also if you're not fertilizing daily, you're not, so long. But hopefully in 1.8 everything should be done. Finger crossed. Part of me just wants to fix the double water bug and make it so that each stage is a single day, because having to maintain the plug bug, I think, is part of what led to some of the wonkiness. Sia said, everything takes so long as is. I'd hate to add additional time to flowers. And Chelsea said, it wouldn't be additional time. It would be removing the watering inconsistencies and instead shortening the time it takes flower to grow to make up for it. We'll see what they will do with it. So now Chelsea showed a whole chart of the stages around 23 days. And there was the original design, there was the plug bug, and then the plug accidentally fixed in 1.7.1 said that at some point you cannot water your flowers again, and then you lose a few days. And I'm very confused about that, so I'm not going to do in too much details, but if you want to analyze it, there it is. My previous understanding is that flowers will still develop and propagate without fertilizer, just more slowly. And Chelsea said they do, but it's like a 10-time increase when fertilized. Something we're also looking at. Meaning that it might change it. So I'm giving you the time that it's 10 times, but it might change. So this is good, because in this game nothing is flawed and forever. Like if something is flawed in another game that is released, but they keep changing the mechanic, which is great, to make it better, to make it faster, everything. But for my guides, it's really not easy. We hope to add stocking to the composter for 1.7.5. Remember, it's been announced to be the second week of June. Creating flower pots versus candles. Me and San said, I honestly thought we would be able to create flower pots, but instead they were meant to make candles. And Chelsea said, this is on the list, but a bit more complicated than candles, so it's taking longer. Someone said, would love if we could place flowers on furniture and if they would automatically go in a vase when placed. And Chelsea said, future stuff planned, release not known yet, probably around 2.1. And I calculated this would be around September. So this is not very soon. Hello Kitty says, try fertilizing last. I was having a really sluggish spawn rate if it rained after I fertilized. I don't recall if that actually identified as a bug or fix for 1.7 or not. And Jessie said, it's not an actual bug, it's just a weird side effect of how things bloom after the rain and how bloom resets the ability to fertilize. We are still looking into ways to get around that, but they all have other bad side effects. It's like games are massive interconnected systems full of dependencies or something. And Kat says, thank you for confirming I'm not crazy. I thought I was doing something wrong. And Chelsea said, nope, you're not crazy. I agree strongly with the advice to have null, water first and fertilize last. Apparently there was some unlock for the double ombre flowers and now everything has been lifted. And Chelsea said, I'm hoping it means we see a lot more secondary transfer and folks can really go after their dream flower. Indigo hibiscus with periwinkle trim for me, though I never got marigold in either of those colors. In the feedback that says best friend to help with flowers, people suggesting that maybe wish me mail helps with flower, and Chelsea said, we were super worried folks would accidentally forget about the companion bonus and pluck stuff they did not meant to. What we might do is add a pluck everything plot function in the future. I think they said now it's coming in 1.8. We want to make fertilizer more plentiful and easier to make for sure. We have a few things on the roadmap that should help with this, and we have a link considering adjusting Wish Me Mail's ability to doubling fertilizers instead of seeds. That would be amazing. Because now we need to make the seed first, and then before I was actually just composting the flowers. Now I need to make the flowers into seeds because there's a bonus there, and then compost the seeds, so that's an extra step. And with that I still don't have enough fertilizer. Lisa said she suggests that we compost mushrooms and pollens and apples, pineapple, things like that. And Chelsea said, I have a friend who is obsessed with mushrooms. There are so many cool varieties, definitely something on our minds. Does that mean that you'll make more mushrooms instead of just making the mushrooms that we have compostable? Maybe. Okay, this has been another super long Q&A about flowers, but I hope that it helps you understand more mechanics and feeling better about what is coming. Which is cool is that apparently we'll get a lot of more things to manage our plots in 1.8, but we should not get any new flower in 1.8 because they messed up and still did it in 1.7 and said that probably she will not add the one in 1.8. Maybe, I don't know, it will be the adding flowers to the spooky swamp or something like that. So maybe that will help us be more ready with all the flowers. Exactly like I said before, like we can have slowly all the colors and make more experiments and everything. So I have a question. Before we said that we did not have enough space. Now we have more and more plots, but I feel that none of the plots are big enough to display all the flowers, like the rainbow flowers. And this is an issue with me, but now I feel that usually I have enough plots for making my experiments, like all the flowers that I still want to turn into ombre, or planting the ombres to get many to make the things like that. So I have enough plots, I guess. I would not mind bigger ones or more, but I feel like I'm okay and not as stressed as before. What is your feeling about plot sizes, quantities at the moment? Have you been stressed out by that? I think now we have enough, and it's just the time that it takes because there's so many places. And imagine if they add flowers, even if they keep like one button to trowel and plant, no, not plant, not plant cannot be done, but let's say water, fertilize and pluck can be done with just one button. We will save a lot of time, but we'll still have to trowel manually the ones that we don't want and replant the colors that we want and try not to forget any places. And because we need to water first, and then fertilize later. What I'm doing now is I'm doing biome by biome. I water and I pluck and I trouble what I don't want. I do that in all biomes. Then I have all my flowers and unwanted stuff. Then I'm trying to make fertilizer with what I want, and then I go back biome by biome to fertilize, because every day I use all my fertilizer. So maybe in the future we'll have enough fertilizer that we have advanced fertilizer, and so that we can take care of one plot and fertilizing on that day, and it will take one less step. But at the moment, even if we limit the time per plot, there's still, I don't know, between 6 and 12 per biome, and we have now 4 biomes, but we can have more in the future. So imagine it will take a lot of time to go to each plot. And what was the experiment I was doing here? What should I do with this plot, basically? When it's just grown flowers and not bloomed flowers, for me it's not always easy to remember what was the experiment there. Or if like there spawn so many new ones, I'm like, where is the good ones that I need to remove and some the bad ones? Because some of the new ones can be more advanced than the ones that you were doing the experiment with. So honestly, I understand everything about making these flowers the thing that we need to focus a lot if we want, and I'm happy that I went to this because I'm a completionist, and I don't think that I will drop my spreadsheet anytime soon. Maybe hopefully when I have all the pattern for all the base flowers, I can just aim for transferring everything and I won't need to look at my spreadsheet every day, but that might be another month or 2, I guess, and then we can just focus on the newest thing. But I'm loving flowers, and if you guys are very stressed about flowers, remember that I'm offering a service on my YouTube channel membership. So if you want to hire me, I can come, I can chat with you like on a call, and we can discuss your flower goals, and then we can go to your island and apply them, and I'll be like, okay, here you need to remove everything and you need to plant that, and if you need also some seeds that you don't have, I can give you some maybe to help you. And yeah, I will tell you in which pattern to plant everything to get the result that you want, because obviously it's been working quite okay for me. So if you're interested in me holding your hand until you have a beautiful flower garden, I would love to help you guys enjoy the flowers and not be frustrated. So consider joining my channel membership. There are 3 different levels, and then the second and third level I can come and help you and play on your island to help you do this. So consider doing that. And thank you so much for staying until the end, and see you soon. Bye bye.